The photo hit my phone at 3 a.m. Singapore time. My sister Georgia, grinning wide, sprawled across my couch in my living room. Her kids, Holly and Robbie, building a pillow fort with my throw pillows. The caption from Mum read, "Surprise! Georgia moved in! We changed the locks! Family helps family!" I'm Rose, and I've spent the last decade building international infrastructure projects across Asia. That house back in Seattle? I bought it at 27, working 80-hour weeks while living in a studio apartment the size of a closet. No help, no handouts, just me, my savings, and a dream of having something that was truly mine. My hands shook as I read Mum's follow-up messages. "Georgia really needs this right now, sweetie. You're never there anyway. Don't be selfish. You have your whole exciting life abroad. The kids are so happy to have a real home." I muted my phone and opened my laptop. The conference presentation I was supposed to be preparing for tomorrow blurred before my eyes. Instead, I pulled up my email and started typing. "Cruz, remember our conversation about listing the house. Time to execute, immediately." My realtor replied within minutes. "Rose, you sure? Thought you were waiting till next year. They broke in and changed my locks. Get it listed, today." Holy shit, on it. Sending docs now. My phone buzzed again. Georgia this time. "OMG sis, you should see how cute Holly's room looks. I used your master bedroom since you're not using it. Hope that's cool." I switched my phone to silent and poured myself a whiskey. The Singapore skyline glittered through my hotel window as I signed Cruz's digital paperwork. My sister always did love playing house with other people's toys. Mum and Dad always let her. Not this time. A memory surfaced. Me at 16, working 2 jobs to buy my first car. Georgia, 14, borrowing it without permission and wrapping it around a tree. Mum making me apologise to Georgia for making her feel bad about the accident. My email pinged. Cruz again. "Listing goes live in 4 hours. Market's hot. We'll have offers by tomorrow. You want me to handle the eviction notice too?" I took another sip of whiskey. "Yes, make it official. They want to play house. Let's see how they like the rules." My phone screen lit up with missed calls. Mum, Dad, Georgia, Mum again. A text from Georgia popped up. "The kids want to paint their rooms, thinking bright yellow for Holly. Call me." I opened my presentation slides instead. Tomorrow, I'd pitch a $50 million project to a room full of executives. They'd see a composed professional in a crisp blazer, not someone whose family just detonated a nuclear bomb in her life. I typed back to Cruz, "Make sure the eviction notice includes all occupants, and Cruz, make it fast." "You got it, boss. Want me to change the locks back?" "No need. New owners can handle that." I closed my laptop and walked to the window. 28 floors up, Singapore's gardens glowed like jewels in the night. I'd built this life piece by piece, project by project, while Georgia bounced between jobs and relationships, leaving chaos in her wake. My phone buzzed one final time. A text from Dad. "Your mother is very upset. Call us immediately." I turned my phone off completely and finished my whiskey. In 12 hours, I'd nail my presentation. In 24, my house would be listed. In 48, my family would learn what happens when they mistake kindness for weakness. They wanted to play games with my house. Game on. I opened my laptop again and started a new email. "Dear Cruz, regarding the listing price, let's go aggressive. I want this done fast." The Singapore sunrise was starting to paint the sky pink. I had a presentation to prepare, a house to sell, and a family to teach about consequences. For once, I wouldn't be the one apologising. "Your childhood room is still exactly how you left it," Mum used to say whenever I visited. She meant it as comfort, but it was really an indictment. George's room changed monthly, new furniture, fresh paint, constant upgrades. Mine stayed frozen in time, like they'd given up on me ever coming back. My phone buzzed. Cruz's name lit up the screen. "Rose, You're not going to believe this. 3 offers already, all over asking. I adjusted my earpiece, weaving through Singapore's crowded streets. How much over? Highest is 50,000 above. All cash buyer, wants to close in 2 weeks. Perfect. What's the status on the eviction notice? Courier's delivering it today. Your sister's in for a surprise. As if on cue, my phone beeped with an incoming call. Georgia. I ignored it. Rose? Cruz's voice softened. You sure about this? Once we accept an offer? They broke into my house, Cruz. Changed my locks. Would you let that slide? Hell no. Just checking. Oh, incoming text from your sister. She's asking me about painting contractors. I stopped walking. She's what? Says she's improving the property. Want me to respond? No. Send her the eviction notice. Now. I hung up and ducked into a coffee shop. Within minutes, my phone exploded. What the actual fuck, Rose? Georgia's text screamed. An eviction notice? Mum's message followed. Call me immediately. This is cruel and unnecessary. Then Dad. We need to talk about this as a family. My phone rang. Georgia again. This time I answered. How could you? She sobbed. The kids just got settled. Interesting. Did you ask how I felt about you settling into my house? Mum and Dad said, Mum and Dad don't own my house. I do. Or did you forget who worked for it? We're family. You're never even here. I laughed, cold and sharp. Remember my first car, Georgia? The one you totaled? That was 15 years ago. I was a kid. And Mum made me apologise to you for making you feel bad about destroying my property. Is that what this is about? Revenge? No, this is about consequences. You have 2 weeks. 2 weeks? That's impossible. Where are we supposed to go? Not my problem. Should have thought about that before breaking in. We didn't break in. Mum and Dad had keys. Which they used illegally. Check your email. Cruz sent you information about short-term rentals in your price range. George's voice cracked. How can you be so heartless? What about Holly and Robbie? What about them? Their mother should have secured housing before making them homeless. I'm telling everyone what you're doing. You'll look like a monster. Go ahead. I'm sure it'll look great, how you broke into your sister's house and got legally evicted. The line went quiet. Then, barely a whisper. Mom was right about you. You never cared about anyone but yourself. Funny, I remember caring about my car, my house, my boundaries, all the things you and Mum never respected. I hung up as another call came in. Cruz again. Rose? Buyer increased their offer. They want to close in 10 days. I watched people stream past the coffee shop window, living their normal lives while mine imploded in slow motion. Take it! Send me the paperwork! You got it? Oh, and Rose, your mum just called me, tried to say you're mentally unstable and can't make legal decisions. My coffee turned bitter in my mouth. Of course she did. Send her lawyer my power of attorney paperwork. And Cruz, thank you. Don't thank me yet. This is going to get uglier before it's over. I stepped back into Singapore's humidity, my phone still buzzing with messages. A new one popped up, from Holly's school email account, probably typed by Georgia. Auntie Rose, please don't make us leave our new home. We love it here. My finger hovered over the delete button. Then I remembered Georgia's smug face in that first photo, sprawled across my couch like she owned it. Delete. Some lessons had to be learned the hard way. God knows I had. The first Instagram post appeared 3 days after the eviction notice. Georgia, tears streaming down her face, hugging Holly and Robbie on my front porch. Caption: When your own sister makes her niece and nephew homeless. Toxic family. Xing narcissistic sister. I was back in my Singapore apartment when Cruz called. Your sister's gone viral. Local mum groups are sharing her posts. Let them, I said, scrolling through the comments. Hundreds of strangers calling me heartless, cruel, evil. There's more, Cruz continued. She's claiming you're mentally unstable from childhood trauma and shouldn't be allowed to sell. My doorbell rang. Room service. I'd ordered dinner an hour ago. Hold that thought, I told Cruz, opening the door. Instead of room service, I found Leighton, my ex, standing there. Surprise, he said, looking exactly like he had 2 years ago when I caught him cheating. Your mum called. She's worried about you. I slammed the door in his face and returned to my phone. Cruz, my mother sent my ex to my apartment in Singapore. Jesus, want me to call security? Already done. I heard Leighton arguing with someone in the hallway. Any other surprises? Yeah, George's friend Aurora started a GoFundMe. Help single mum and kids displaced by heartless sister. My laptop pinged. Another email from Mom. Rose, if you don't stop this madness, you'll regret it forever. George's children will never forgive you. I forwarded it to Cruz. Add it to the harassment file. My phone buzzed with a text from Georgia. Holly's crying herself to sleep every night. Hope you're happy. I opened Instagram again. Georgia's latest post showed Holly's room, my master bedroom, half-packed, looking deliberately tragic. The comments were brutal. What kind of monster evicts children? Someone call CPS on the sister. Rich people have no hearts. Cruz's voice cut through my thoughts. Rose, the buyers want to move up closing. 7 days. Perfect. What's the next step? Property inspection tomorrow. They'll need full access. I smiled for the first time in days. Make it 9 a.m. Don't tell Georgia. That's cold. I love it. Another call beeped through. Dad this time. I switched lines. What do you want? Rosie, he sounded tired. This has gone too far. Your mother can't sleep. Funny how nobody cared about my sleep when they were breaking into my house. We had keys. We're family. Having keys doesn't make it legal, Dad. Having DNA doesn't make it right. Georgia has nowhere to go. She has the same place she had before you moved her into my house, wherever that was. She was living with us, but your mother's nerves. Ah, I cut him off. So it was fine to dump her on me without asking, but not okay to keep her yourselves? Silence. That's what I thought, I said. Anything else? Your mother, she might have said some things to Leighton. Like that I'm mentally unstable, traumatized, unfit to make decisions. More silence. Goodbye, Dad. I switched back to Cruz. Still there? Yep. Your sister's posts are getting nasty. She's implying you're emotionally abusing her kids by proxy. Forward everything to my lawyer. And Cruz, make sure the inspection team tomorrow is thorough. I want them checking every room, every closet, every corner. You want Georgia to have to move everything for them? Exactly. Time she learned whose house it really is. My phone lit up with a new Instagram notification. Georgia had posted a childhood photo. Me pushing her on a swing, both of us smiling. Caption, what happened to my loving sister? Greed changes, people, asked money over family. I clicked the block button and opened my email. Dear Cruz, schedule the final walkthrough for 8 a.m. next Tuesday. Don't notify current occupants. I'll be there in person. Time to end this. Rose. Let them paint me as the villain. Some stories need a good one. The inspection team arrived exactly at 9 a.m. I watched through Cruz's video call as Georgia opened the door in her pyjamas, face shifting from confusion to rage. What is this? She demanded. Property inspection, the lead inspector said, already stepping inside. We have authorization from the owner. I wasn't notified. Not required, Cruz said off camera. Legal notice was sent yesterday. I watched Georgia's face crumple. I need to get the kids ready for school. They can inspect while you do that, Cruz replied smoothly. Every room needs to be checked. My phone buzzed. Mom calling. I declined it and texted Cruz. How bad is it? They've done some damage, he typed back. Walls need repainting. carpet stains, scratches on the hardwood. Georgia's voice carried through the video. "This is harassment. I'm calling my mother." "Your mother doesn't own this house," Cruz reminded her. "Now, we need to check the master bedroom." The camera followed them upstairs. My bedroom, my sanctuary, had been transformed into a chaotic mess of toys, clothes, and half-unpacked boxes. The walls, once a peaceful grey, were now partially painted a garish yellow. "What happened to the built-in shelving?" Cruz asked. "We removed it for the kids' artwork," Georgia mumbled. I unmuted myself. "You destroyed custom carpentry." Georgia whirled toward Cruz's phone. "You're watching this! You coward! Couldn't face us yourself! I'm facing you right now from my job, the one that paid for everything you're destroying. We're improving it, making it a home." "It was a home, my home, which you broke into. Mum and Dad aren't the owners. I am. Was. Sale closes in 6 days. Georgia's face went white. 6 days? But the eviction notice said. Buyers moved up the timeline. Tick-tock. The inspector interrupted. "Ma'am, we need to check the attic." "No!" Georgia stepped in front of the attic door. "It's messy up there." Cruz moved closer. "Open it. I have rights." "Not in this house," I said through the phone. "Open it, Georgia." The door swung open. Boxes upon boxes filled the space, but not moving boxes. These were familiar, my boxes. "Are those my storage containers?" My voice went deadly quiet. "You weren't using them," Georgia said defensively. "We needed space, so you threw my things in the attic? Where are my files, my photos?" "Some might have gotten wet. There was a leak." I ended the video call. My hands shook as I dialed Cruz. "Get them out. Today. Call the police if you have to." "Rose, they destroyed my property, damaged the house, threw my life in the attic to rot. Get them out." My phone lit up with a text from Leighton. "Elena told me everything. You need help, Rose. Professional help." Then Mum. "Georgia's crying. The kids are terrified. Is this what you wanted?" Dad. "The police? Really? Against your own sister?" I blocked them all and called my lawyer. "Sandra, remember when you said documenting everything was paranoid? Check your email, photos of damage, unauthorized modifications, property destruction. I want them charged with vandalism." "That's your sister, Rose." "No, that's a trespasser who destroyed my home. Press charges." I hung up as Cruz called back. "Police are here. Georgia's having a meltdown, saying you're ruining her kids' lives." "Put me on speaker." Georgia's sobs came through clearly. "Listen carefully," I said. "You have 2 hours. Take your things, only your things. Leave my boxes, leave my property, or face charges. You heartless but 2 hours, Georgia. The clock's ticking." I ended the call and opened my laptop, buying a ticket to Seattle. Time to finish this in person. My phone buzzed one last time. A text from Cruz. "They're packing, but Rose, Georgia's friend Aurora, is live-streaming the whole thing, calling it Wealthy Sister's Cruel Eviction of a Homeless Family." I booked the ticket. First class. If I was going to be cast as the villain, I might as well travel like one. 6 days until closing. Time to go home and close this chapter. Permanently. The Seattle rain matched my mood as Cruz picked me up from the airport. Aurora's livestream had gone viral. Over 100,000 views of Georgia's emergency evacuation. The comments were brutal, my phone buzzing with hate messages from strangers. "They're still in the house," Cruz said, merging onto the highway. "Refusing to leave. Aurora's got protesters outside." Protesters? Local mum groups, about 20 of them, signs saying "Save the children" and "Family over greed." I checked my phone. Sure enough, Aurora was live again. Day 2 of the protest against wealthy abuse. Share to help this struggling family. "Perfect," I said. "More witnesses." "For what?" "You'll see." We pulled up to my house. The protesters parted as I stepped out, whispers and phone cameras following me. Georgia stood on my porch, arms crossed, Aurora live streaming beside her. "Look who finally showed up," Georgia announced to her audience. "My sister, everyone, the one making children homeless." I walked straight past her, key in hand. The door was already open. Inside, the house was worse than the video showed. Walls defaced, floors scratched, my belongings strewn everywhere. Holly and Robbie sat on my couch, playing video games on a TV I didn't recognise. "That's not your TV," I said. "We needed one," Georgia shrugged. "You can keep it when we leave, if we leave." "When is now?" I pulled out my phone. "Cruz?" He stepped inside, followed by 2 police officers and a court official. "What's happening?" Aurora demanded, camera still rolling. "Ma'am," one officer said to Georgia, "we have a court order for immediate evacuation. You need to gather your belongings and leave." "You can't do this," Georgia screamed. "We have rights." "No," I said quietly. "You don't. Not here. Not anymore." The court official stepped forward. "You have 1 hour to collect personal belongings. Anything left behind will be considered abandoned property." "My kids have school tomorrow." Georgia gestured to Holly and Robbie, who looked surprisingly unfazed. "Where are we supposed to go?" I handed her an envelope. 3 months paid at the extended stay hotel. Cruz arranged it. Your choice to use it or not. Georgia ripped the envelope in half. "We don't want your blood money." "Mom," Holly suddenly spoke up, "can we just go to Grandma's? I'm tired of cameras and fighting." The live stream chat exploded with heart emojis and supportive comments. Georgia's face twisted. "Fine," she spat, "but this isn't over, Rose. You've shown everyone who you really are." "No," I replied, watching the officers begin documenting the damage. "I've shown everyone who you are. Kids, go pack your things. Officers will help carry them out." As Holly and Robbie trudged upstairs, Aurora shoved her camera in my face. "How does it feel to destroy your own family?" I looked directly into the lens. "How does it feel to live stream child trauma for clicks? Keep rolling. Show your viewers the damage they did to my house. Show them what family really meant here." The camera lowered slightly. That's what I thought. An hour later, Georgia and the kids were gone. The protesters dispersed when the police started running license plates. Aurora's live stream ended abruptly when Cruz mentioned potential liability for inciting harassment. I stood in my destroyed living room, surrounded by the wreckage of what was once my sanctuary. "Rose," Cruz touched my shoulder. "The buyers. They might back out when they see this." "They won't." I pulled out my phone, showing him an email. "They're developers, planning to tear it down anyway. That's why they offered cash." "You knew? Why do you think I took their offer? This house died the moment they broke in. Might as well profit from its funeral." My phone buzzed. A video message from Holly. "Auntie Rose, I'm sorry about your house. Mum said we had to, but I didn't want to. I miss when you used to visit and we'd just talk normal." I saved the message but didn't reply. Some bridges, once burned, should stay ashes. Cruz surveyed the damage. "What now?" "Now?" I walked to my former bedroom, where George's yellow paint still stained the walls. "Now we prepare for closing. And Cruz, make sure the final walkthrough is scheduled when they're all watching. Let them see what family bought them." The rain kept falling outside, washing away protest footprints from my driveway. 5 days until closing. 5 days until this house became someone else's problem. 5 days until freedom. Dad showed up alone the next morning. He looked older than I remembered, standing in my ruined living room with his hands in his pockets. "Your mother doesn't know I'm here," he said. "Then why are you?" He picked up a broken picture frame from the floor, an old photo of our family at the beach. Georgia and I building sandcastles, Mum and Dad smiling behind us. "You were always the strong one," he said. "The responsible one. Maybe that's why we—" "Why you what, Dad? Why you dumped everything on me. Why you let Georgia destroy everything I owned. We thought you'd understand. Understand what? That my house, my life, meant nothing compared to Georgia's needs. He set the frame down. She needed help. And I didn't. All those times she took my things, ruined my chances, made my life hell. Where was my help? Rose, when she totaled my first car, you made me apologize. When she borrowed my college fund for her failed business, you said, family supports family. When she showed up at my graduation party drunk and ruined my speech, you said, that's just how she is. We were trying to keep peace. No, you were trying to avoid dealing with her. It was easier to make me adjust, make me forgive, make me give up everything than to make her face consequences. Cruz appeared in the doorway. Rose, the contractors are here to assess the damage. Dad straightened up. I'll pay for repairs. Too late, I said. House sells in 4 days. To developers, they're tearing it down. Tearing it down? But all your work? Georgia already destroyed it. Might as well profit from the ruins. A contractor walked in, clipboard ready. Dad moved toward the door, then stopped. Your mother, she's not well. This situation is her own doing, and Georgia's, and yours. You don't bring justice by breaking your sister's heart. I laughed, harsh and cold. Maybe if someone had broken hers earlier, she'd have grown one. Ms. Rose, the contractor called, we need to document the attic damage. Go home, Dad. Tell Mom whatever you want. This ends in 4 days. He reached for my hand. I stepped back. We're still family, he said. Family doesn't break and enter. Family doesn't destroy homes. Family doesn't slander each other online for sympathy points. People make mistakes. This wasn't a mistake. This was a pattern, one that ends now. My phone buzzed. Cruz's eyes widened at the message. Rose, we have a problem. Georgia tried to forge your signature on some documents to delay the sale. Dad's face went pale. She wouldn't. Check your email, Cruz said. Sending proof now. I opened the attachment. There was my signature, clearly forged, on a document claiming the house sale was fraudulent. Still want to defend her, Dad? He sat heavily on my ruined couch. I'll talk to her. No, I'm pressing charges. Forgery is a felony. She's your sister. Not anymore. I turned to Cruz. Call Sandra. Get the police report started. Rose, please. Dad stood up. We can work this out. Like we worked out the car, the college fund, the graduation, the break-in, the property destruction, the online harassment. He had no answer. That's what I thought. I opened the door. Goodbye, Dad. Give Mom my best. Or don't. It doesn't matter anymore. He walked out slowly, shoulders slumped. The contractors worked around us, documenting every scratch, every stain, every act of deliberate destruction. My phone lit up with messages. Mum, your father is crying. I hope you're happy. Georgia, they'll never prove I forged anything. Aurora, you're really pressing charges against your own blood? I blocked them all and turned to Cruz. Get me the paperwork for the charges. And Cruz, when the developers tear this place down, make sure Georgia gets front row seats. She wanted the house so badly. She can watch it fall. The rain started again, washing away Dad's footprints from my driveway. 4 days until closing. 4 days until the charges were filed. 4 days until I finally, completely, irreversibly broke free. The final walkthrough was scheduled for 9 a.m. I arrived early to find Georgia and Aurora already there, filming from their car across the street. The developers team pulled up in sleek black SUVs, right on time. Ms. Rose, the lead developer extended his hand. Ready to proceed? Absolutely. Georgia scrambled out of her car. Rose, wait! I kept walking, leading the team toward the house. Georgia ran up, Aurora trailing with her ever-present camera. You can't just tear it down. This is our childhood home. No, I said, unlocking the door. This was my investment, one you destroyed. The developers moved past us, clipboards ready. Georgia grabbed my arm. The kids' stuff is still inside, some of it anyway. We couldn't carry everything. You had your chance. Anything left is legally abandoned. Aurora shoved her camera forward. Heartless sister throws away children's treasures. Live at. One more word, I cut in, and I add harassment charges to the forgery case. The camera lowered. Inside, the developers were already measuring, marking, planning their future project. Georgia followed me room to room, her protests getting increasingly desperate. Remember when we used to play hide-and-seek in here? When Dad built that treehouse outside? When Mum gave you my car? When Dad used my college fund? When you all broke in and changed my locks? We're family. You can't just erase. Watch me. The lead developer approached with paperwork. Everything looks in order. We can close today if you're ready. Perfect. Rose, please. Georgia was crying now. Real tears, not the performative ones from her live streams. I'm sorry, okay? I messed up. I always mess up. But please don't do this. I paused, pen hovering over the final document. Through the window, I could see Holly and Robbie in the back seat of Georgia's car, watching silently. You know what's funny, I said, turning to face my sister. If you'd asked, not assumed, not taken, I might have helped, might have let you stay properly, legally, temporarily. I can do that now. We can start over. No, you didn't ask because you never thought you had to. You and Mum and Dad always assumed my things were your things. My space was your space. My life was yours to rearrange. I was desperate. You were entitled. There's a difference. The developer cleared his throat politely. I signed the papers. No! Georgia lunged for the documents. 2 security guards stepped forward, blocking her path. Ma'am, one said firmly, please exit the property. It's not property, she screamed. It's home. It's memories. Was, I corrected. It was all those things, until you broke in, until you destroyed it, until you showed me exactly how little my memories meant to you. Aurora had started filming again. I walked straight to her camera. Got your story? Good. Here's the real headline. Woman sells house after sister breaks in, commits forgery, destroys property. But that's not as clickable, is it? Georgia slumped against the wall. What am I supposed to tell the kids? Tell them actions have consequences. Tell them respect matters. Tell them what happens when you take things that aren't yours. The developers began their final inspection. Georgia watched, defeated, as they marked walls for demolition. Mum's going to be devastated, she whispered. Mum's going to learn the same lesson you are. Finally. I walked to the front door, then turned back one last time. Goodbye, Georgia. Good luck with the forgery charges. Outside, Holly waved from the car window, not angry, just sad. It hit harder than Georgia's tears, than Mum's manipulation, than Dad's guilt. But as Cruz pulled up to drive me to the closing, I remembered my ruined photos in the attic, my destroyed furniture, my invaded space. Ready? Cruz asked. I looked back at my first house, my hard-won independence, my sacrificed sanctuary. Ready? Georgia's voice carried across the lawn. You'll regret this. Maybe. But as we drove away, leaving her with her camera-ready tears and her enablers and her lifetime of dodged consequences, I felt something else. Freedom? The house was gone. But so were the chains. The demolition crew arrived at dawn. I watched from Cruz's car as the machines rolled in, yellow giants against the grey Seattle sky. No protesters today, no cameras, no tears. My phone buzzed, a text from Dad. They arrested Georgia this morning. Forgery charges. Your mother collapsed when the police came. I showed Cruz the message. You okay? He asked. Better than okay. The first wall came down with a thundering crash. My bedroom, where Georgia had painted her garish yellow, crumbled into dust. Another text. Please drop the charges, she's your sister. I typed back, she stopped being my sister when she broke into my house. The demolition continued, methodical and final. Each crash felt like punctuation on a chapter of my life. Cruz handed me an envelope. Final paperwork from the sale, and this. Inside was a check, far more than I'd expected, and a small note from Holly. Dear Auntie Rose, Mum says I'm not supposed to talk to you anymore, but I wanted to say I understand. Mum takes my things without asking too. Sometimes she sells them, says it's because we're family. I'm sorry about your house. Love, Holly. I folded the note carefully and put it in my wallet. The developers asked if you want to keep anything from inside, Cruz said. There's still time before... No, let it all go. My phone rang, Mum's number. For the first time in weeks, I answered. How could you have Georgia arrested? She sobbed. How could you help her break into my house? We were helping her. No, you were helping yourselves. To my house, my life, my boundaries. She's facing jail time. Actions have consequences, Mum, even for your golden child. The second floor collapsed inward. My attic, where they'd thrown my memories to rot, disappeared in a cloud of debris. What do you want? Mum's voice turned calculating. Money? We'll pay you back. Just drop the charges. I want you to understand something, I said, watching another wall fall. This, the house coming down, the charges, the consequences, this is what boundaries look like. This is what happens when you break them. We're family. Not anymore. You chose Georgia every time. Now live with it. I hung up as the last wall fell. Cruz touched my shoulder. The developers want to know if you'd like to invest in the new project they're building here. I laughed. No, but I know what I am going to do with the money. Do tell. I pulled up my email and started typing. Dear Holly, I'm setting up a trust fund for your education, one your mother can't touch, one that will be there when you're ready to build your own boundaries. Love, Auntie Rose. That's surprisingly sweet, Cruz said. Sometimes the best revenge is making sure history doesn't repeat. My phone buzzed one last time. Aurora had posted her final live stream. Karma, entitled sister who evicted family, loses house to demolition. I clicked the link and commented. Correction, owner sells house after family breaks in. Karma indeed. The machines were finishing up, leaving nothing but foundation and memories. Cruz started the car. Where to? I looked at the empty lot where my house had stood, where Georgia had played victim, where Mum had enabled, where Dad had stayed silent. Airport, I said, Singapore's waiting, and Cruz, thank you for everything. Any time, though next time maybe we sell to a nice family instead of developers. No next time. I'm done with houses for a while. As we pulled away, I watched in the rearview mirror as the dust settled on my past. The house was gone. The family was gone. The weight was gone. My phone lit up with a final text from Dad. I'm sorry. For everything. For not stopping them. For not protecting you too. I didn't respond. Some apologies come too late. But Holly's note sat in my wallet, a reminder that sometimes, from the ashes of broken boundaries, something better can grow, something stronger, something free.